As we continue on in this lesson on installation and configuration of AD certificate services, we're going to focus on protecting our certificates. If we go through all the legwork to create and manage and configure these certificates, we want to make sure if something happens, we have a way to recover them. So what we're going to focus on here is how to back up certificates and how to recover the certificates using both the GUI as well as PowerShell. To perform a backup of a CA, we're going to use a certification authority console, or we can use a PowerShell command called backup-ca role service, or we can use an elevated command prompt to run the certutil.exe, and you see a sample for that command as well. If you need to export a certificate, you can also use the certification authority console as well as a PowerShell command, export-certificate. If you back one up, at some point you may need to restore it. We're going to use similar tools for restoring. Certification Authority Console, PowerShell. Now we're going to use restore-ca role service instead of backup. Again, the certutil. Again, we're going to use restore instead of backup. And then if we need to perform an import of certificates, we can also use the Certification Authority Console as well as the import-certificate PowerShell command. When we're performing a restore, your Active Directory certificate services cannot be running while that restore operation is taking place. Let's go back out to our primary image or domain controller number 1 and take a look at how we can back up and recover CAs. We're going to head over to Tools, and we're going to go to a new option here called Certification Authority. And we're going to open that up here, and you're going to see we have our certificate that we created earlier. And I'm going to expand on that. Underneath there, you have 5 folders, Revoked Certificates. The Issued Certificates, that's the only one we're using at this point because we already created a certificate. Pending Requests. Remember, some certificate requests come in, and we have to manually authorize them or approve them. Failed request, and then certificate templates. But let's look at this one right here. What if we want to export this certificate and import it elsewhere? I simply right-click on it, go to All Tasks, and we have Export Binary Data. So I can click on that. And then there's some different options as far as the columns that you want to grab. I'm going to grab the binary certificate, and it asks if I want to view it or if I want to save it to a file. So I could click Save to a File and do an OK. It's going to ask me where I want to save it. I'm going to go to my C drive, and I have a backups folder there. And I'm going to put it in there. I'll go ahead and click Save. And now we've exported that for use to import somewhere else. The other thing I can do is back up all my certificates. I'll go right up to AZMTP, and I'll right-click, and here my all tasks are different. We have a backup CA, and we have a restore CA. So we're going to go backup CA. It's wizard eyes, so we'll go ahead and click Next. I'm going to grab the private key and the CA certificate as well as the database and database log. Had I already performed a full database backup, I could choose an incremental backup, but we haven't done this yet. So I'm going to browse again, and we're at our SQL and backups. That's good. I'll go ahead and do an OK. We'll do a Next. We're going to have to apply a password to this. This is another line of security for me. So if I back these up and someone tries to restore them without my knowledge, they have to know what this password is. So we'll go ahead and type this in. And we'll click Next again. And it's giving me my summary screen. And we'll go ahead and click Finish. And it performed that backup for me. Now to restore, it's just as simple. We come in here, we right-click, we go to Tasks, we do a Restore CA. And it says the ADCS service can't be running for this operation. We had just talked about that. Do you want to stop that? Sure. I'll go ahead and click OK. Now it opens the wizard for me, and I click Next. I'm going to restore everything I just backed up just to keep it simple. And we're going to go right to our backups. Go ahead and do an OK. We'll do a Next. Here's my password prompt. And we'll do a Next here. My review page. My finish. And now we restored that backup that was just created. And it's nice that it's asking me if I'm ready to start the ADCS because I may have to perform some additional restores. Maybe I did a restore of a full backup. Now I need to do a restore of an incremental backup. So I'm going to go ahead and click Yes to start this service. And you'll see over here on the left-hand side, we have a green checkbox, which means our service is back up and running. So those are the steps for exporting a specific certificate or backing up, protecting by supplying a password, as well as the steps for restoring your CA.